And joining us right now is the man himself, new to the staff, but certainly a mainstay, years at Long Beach State, great high school basketball coach, and dare I say, he taught Reggie Miller how to shoot during his time at UCLA. Coach Rod Palmer is with the Cannons. Coach, I'm a UCLA guy. I precede you. I went to many of the games, and there was no doubt you were an amazing influence on the Hall of Fame career of Reggie Miller back in the mid-'80s. I remember that.
I'm glad to hear you say that. That's overwhelming.
It had to be a lot of fun. You played a couple years at UCLA, then I know you transferred to UC Irvine out there. Walt Hazzard, man, he got a lot of grief because, those weren't great teams at UCLA, although in '87 you had a pretty good run that year. But what did you learn from a coach like Coach Walt Hazzard that maybe you took along with you doing this long coaching career that you've had?
It's funny you ask that. I think about that all the time because I talk to his son Rashid all the time, who used to coach with the Lakers.
Sure.
Coach Hazzard brought a lot of wisdom from Coach Wooden.
Yes.
And, all the tidbits, all of the stories that you get, all of the toughness that he preached, all the teamwork that he taught, Coach Hazzard brought all of that to us. And I take all of that with me. So when I'm thinking about a team, when I'm thinking about our team, my team, coaching a team, I want to have all of those same, pyramids of success, all those little tidbits and notes that Coach Wooden passed along to Coach Hazzard. So, that was a big influence. Hey,
Coach, when you think about those men, and let's say today's game, could they coach and have success in today's college basketball paradigm?
I think you put it right when you said men. Those were men. Those were men who were coaching. Those were not guys who compromised their principles. They had their way of doing things with a little flex because Coach wouldn't, flex a little bit for Bill Walton, and who wouldn't. But they had their own way of doing things. They had a toughness about them. They had this is the way it's going to be because I know this way is successful. And, I think they can coach. I think Coach Wooden could coach today. And I think he'd be very successful today.
I agree with you. I'll say, well, times have changed. You know what? Players, I don't care how great they are, Coach, and you've been around some of the greatest players, they want to be coached. They want to have
no question.
They want to be coached. They want to have a certain sense of order, and that's what the great coaches do. They bring order. They bring stability. You joined San Diego State, and I know you've known Coach Dutcher for many, many years, and Coach Fisher, and there is that certain stability in the program. What has it been like here? And when you were out at the Nevada game, what an unbelievable night that was. We were all there, bringing on our loose cannon karma. But what is it like to be with Dutch and knowing the history that he has in coaching and being part of this San Diego State basketball program now?
Well, first of all, whenever the Loose Cannons can be a part of a San Diego State Aztec basketball game, I'm excited because I know there's a victory in this. There's a victory in our pocket.
By the way, we're not going to be there.
Of course.
You're going to have to handle San Jose State without us. But
please come out.
Yeah, we are going to be there Wednesday for the Fresno State game. We're going to be out there for that one. That's a guarantee, Coach.
I feel better about that one already.
All right. So, but what is it? What did you see? I mean, first year here, years at Long Beach State, obviously, great program over there. But what have you found out about the San Diego State program, maybe that you didn't know before?
From the outside looking in, you always see the success. You see the defense. You see the length of the players, the long athletic players. You see how they can just strangle the team defensively, how they can hold a team down. Maybe not score as much, but they can hold a team down until the Aztecs are able to make that one run. You see that on the outside. But once you get inside, you see all the work that goes into it, all the film study, all of the player development. You see all of the time that's spent with Coach Velasquez, Coach Dutcher, Coach Fisher. All of these guys, there is some work that goes into it. So it's not just you roll the balls out and you have the best players. Best players help, but all the time that Coach Dutcher puts into watching film, all the time that, that Coach Fisher puts into, that he put into talking to guys, to making sure everybody was on the same page. It is not an easy task, but, the way Coach Dutcher has done things, I'm really amazed, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. it's just, it just keeps rolling. It just keeps rolling. I don't care who you bring in. I don't care what players you bring in. There's a certain way that San Diego State is going to perform. There's a certain way that San Diego State is going to prepare. And the Aztecs, for that reason, will always be successful.
Aztecs assistant men's basketball coach Rod Palmer with us here on the Loose Cannons. Coach, could you say that this team is, even though there was a hiccup against Utah State, you guys are kind of hitting your stride at the right time?
I think we are. The guys are starting to trust one another, and that may sound crazy that the season is almost over, but, a season is a process.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find out what works. You have to find out who works well together, who work well together. You have to find out which players you can fit into, certain situation. And, again, I think that the assertion of Nate Mensah into our lineup was very, very big for us because that allowed Jalen McDaniel to move down to his normal position, Matt Mitchell to move down to his normal position, and I think that just allowed us to, to take off. So are we hitting our stride right now? I believe we are. We had a hiccup the other night in Logan, but, that's a tough place to play. Those fans are rowdy. Those fans are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
They love their Aggies basketball. We had a little hiccup, but I think today's practice showed that we have the ability to bounce back. We have the ability to get our swagger back, and I think you'll see a very good Aztec team on Saturday.
Looking ahead to the conference tournament and hopefully a postseason tournament after that, how much of an advantage is it to have two senior starting guards?
Coach Dutcher always says this, you can't win college basketball being young. You have to have older guys to win. And you look at Nevada, you look at the success that they're having this season. All those guys are old. So for us to have,
is that the oldest team, by the way, you've ever seen? I mean, they don't just have five seniors; they're like 5 fifth-year senior starters. I mean, come on. I mean,
they sort of it's a disadvantage for everybody else. Yeah, they are very old, but they make it work. That's the way they do it. Reno, they make it work.
Yeah.
So for us to have Jeremy and who's just a hard-nosed player who will do whatever you ask him to do. He'll guard whoever you ask him to guard. Then to have Devin Watson, who's just a magician with the ball a lot of times. He just makes great decisions, and he's so smart. To have those two guys in your backcourt, those are two guys on the floor that you don't really have to worry about. You give them the ball, you give them their assignment, and they've been through it so much that they know exactly what needs to be done. Now you can focus on the younger guys and try to get the younger guys to, catch up to them mentally and, physically so that they can perform the way that those two guys perform.
Coach, from day one, Matt Mitchell became a favorite of ours. And because he's a Mack truck on the court and he's going 100 miles an hour, but he's under control, and then people just start bouncing off of him. And he has that edge, and he has just that little bit of devil in his eye where, hey, you want to get down and dirty? I'll be down on the floor before you are there. What's it like to coach a guy like that?
You see that in games. You should see him in practice. A lot of, I mean, he's rolling over guys and he's hitting guys. He's lowering his shoulder and, giving little chicken wings out there. He doesn't even know he's doing it, but guys are flying all over the place. That's just the way he is. He has that, he has that edge to him. So to be able to coach a guy like that has a killer instinct, that has that edge, it just gives you such satisfaction and such comfort knowing that you can put him on the floor. And he'll get the job done. If he has to be finesseful, he can do that. If he has to have the ballerina feet, he'll do that. If he has to get down and get dirty, he'll do that. So, he's able to do a lot of things that give our team success.
Jalen obviously is ticketed for the NBA. We were worried he was going to be a one and done. He wasn't. He stayed, and obviously Aztec fans are happy about that. I mean, you look at his body. I've never seen a human being that literally has no calf muscles. I mean, it's like he is a stick. He's long. He is insanely talented, obviously. He's a two-way player. He can rebound, block shots. He can score. He can do so many things out there. What are your thoughts about, I mean, I'm sure NBA scouts, we're seeing draft projections. He's ticketed top 25 in the upcoming NBA draft. But what are some of the things you might worry about? Is it just the physical part of the NBA, or how do you think his game's going to adapt to the next level?
I think he has some things in his game that will adapt, and it's funny that you started off by mentioning Reggie Miller. With this, he is by no stretch of the imagination the player or the shooter that Reggie Miller is, but he has the same body build. Yeah. And Reggie found a way to make it work in the NBA. I think Jalen because of the way he works so hard. He's in the gym before practice. He's in the gym after practice. He practices hard. So I think that, his work ethic will kind of, get him in the door. And once basketball is your job and that's the only thing that you have to focus on, I think that, he can, take that skill level and be successful in the NBA. His ability to shoot the ball, his mid-range shot is almost a layup if once he rises up. Scoring in the middle, he's passing the ball well now. He's handling the ball a little bit better now. Those are some areas that he can improve on, but he is improving his skill set from last year when he was just an energy guy to go in and get an offensive rebound and put it back. He's expanded his game so much. He's just expanded his rebounding and his scoring average so much. So I think that, once he gets into the NBA, it's a starting over process, but I think that he has the ability to be successful in that league.
And Reggie at UCLA was a friggin' beanpole, and by the time he was done, he had filled out. You look at Jalen's frame, and once the strength and conditioning guys get their hands on him, and force feed him like 8 square meals a day, he's got that frame where he's going to be able to pack weight and muscle on, right?
Yeah, I think he does. And again, I think he's willing to do that. Again, basketball is a job, and you have to treat it as such. You have to take care of your body. You have to fuel your body. You have to make sure that you're getting the proper amount of rest. And I think Jalen has that type of work ethic that will allow him to do that. Can he pack on some muscle? I really think he can. And once he does that and gets some strength in his lower body and his quads and in his calves and his legs and in his butt, I think that'll make him even better.
Coach, I love that Centennial team you had, man, with one of my all-time favorite Bruins, Aaron Aflalo. That was an unbelievable team, man.
We had a lot of fun with that team. Aaron was something else. I talk to him all the time, too. But, yeah, that was a fun team. That was the state championship team, so I'll never forget that one.
Well, Coach, we're so happy to have you in San Diego. Tell Dutch, don't worry, Cannons will be there Wednesday. That's going to be a big game next Wednesday. Last home game of the year against Fresno State. It was a jockey for position, getting ready for the Mountain West Conference tournament. Great to have you in San Diego. We always have your back, Coach. You know that. We'll talk to you down the road.
I appreciate it, you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right,
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Rod Palmer